Welcome to the Post 4 All-Season Sports Show. I'm Rubenstein here again with Dave Raese. And Dave, the WVU men's basketball team earned an invitation to the NIT, a first-round date with Georgetown. And I guess first, your take on the NIT. Bob Huggins has never really been that much of a fan of it. In recent years, obviously, it's changed from what it was when it was first created. But can this be something that can be useful long-term wise?
Well, I think, this reminds me of the year that, when John Beilein their team got to the NIT, when they probably should have gotten the NCAA. I think they had 20 wins, and West Virginia is not this. We're not arguing whether we should be in the NIT or the NCAA, but they can use it for a good spring forward. We went and won that NIT, and then we've had some great success at the NCAA's after that. So, with everybody coming back next year and the two guys sitting out, and we've got another recruiting year, this is a good opportunity for them to go into some places, and if they can go all the way to New York and win the NIT, it should give them a good feeling at the end of the year to go into the next year. I think there could be a lot of positives coming out of this.
And I think you're right, because if you look at WVU recent history-wise, you mentioned 2007, the next year under Bob Huggins, they go to the Sweet 16, and that kind of 2 years later, they're in the Final Four. And then you even look at when John Beilein first came, his second year at WVU, they make the NIT, they win a couple games, and then the next season, the 05 years, when they make a run to the Elite Eight. And then you even look at Gail Catlett, the time that he went to the Sweet 16 was after they had made a run in the NIT. But I think it goes back to, is a team excited to be there, and are they embracing the opportunity, or are they just kind of looking at it like, woe is me, I'm not in the NCAA tournament? How do you get a feel for this WVU team in that situation?
Well, if you take Texas out of the situation, their team was in 17 and 12,
sure,
and and they have a lot better record, team. And they didn't, they played a lot of close games against some teams like Oklahoma State. They beat Kansas. So I think they should be excited. I think that, going to New York City and playing, at the Madison Square Garden, 2 games, that should be exciting. And if they can't get excited about, playing basketball, then you and I will suit up. We'll go play. We may not win, but we'll be excited about it.
And how about for the players? I don't know if it matters as much, but they are playing Georgetown, a team that fans here love to hate, and that brings something nice. And it's Washington, D.C. now. It's in the 2,500-seat arena on campus, so it's going to be tough for people to get in. But I think it's kind of neat to bring back that big East Coast rivalry that WVU's obviously been lacking.
I always like those NIT matchups. They do a good job of that. I think putting in rivals that maybe haven't played or former rivals and things. And I guess as Gulf Coast is going to play Florida State, that'll be a big game. They've done a good job with that, and I think it is a good game for West Virginia. I mean, it's an old Big East rival, and it's neat to be able to play them. Yes, too bad we couldn't get Pitt, but or something like that. But I think it's good, and playing in that arena is going to be interesting, because there's a lot of West Virginia fans over there. And they haven't been able to see West Virginia play this year because we haven't played at Georgetown or in Philadelphia and stuff. So, we may have more WVU fans over there than there may have Georgetown fans.
And last one, kind of going to the other side of the equation, WVU women's basketball team, they're getting ready to start, and it's I get the story, and I think their legacy is going to be remembered from what they do on here on out. They've never won 2 games in an NCAA tournament. The '92 team made the Sweet 16, but that was when the field was 48 and not 64, and under Mike Carey, they've never gotten out of that opening weekend. But is that fair? Is this team ultimately going to be remembered from what it does here on out, or have they already done enough to solidify their place in the history books?
I think they've solidified themselves. I think this is probably the best West Virginia women's basketball team, just based on their regular season. They just won too many games in too many hostile places against some very good teams. And the 2 narrow losses to Baylor, which is not too far removed from being a national champion, and obviously one of the better teams last year. So it would be a very big disappointment if they don't go further. But I don't think it would. It would take a lot away from the season. But they have such a good opportunity here. They won't be playing. Usually they were 8-9, something like that, playing someone right next to them. And then the next game was usually against a top-seeded team. Well, this year, they may not face that, big top-seeded team. So they should get a, pretty easy win. I wouldn't say win, but a, easier opponent than their first round. And then they should be able to be favored, maybe even the second round, probably the first time.
And I lied. One more for you. We're talking about March Madness, and how could we not bring up the Morgantown High girls basketball team? That run that I don't think many people saw, and it really, it started back in sectionals when they knocked off University High, but put it in perspective, I mean, that's pretty incredible the way that team kind of came together right at the right time.
That's what you have to do. And I think sometimes, especially in college basketball, the TV games, everybody knocks each other's heads off in November and December, but you want to be ready for a tournament time. You don't want to be tired. You don't want to be injured. You want to be improving at the end, and they did. And maybe it's because they had to replace so many players, but I saw them play. They use a lot of players, just like the boys team for Moreland High, which will be going down there. They too, they don't have a great, no Nathan Adrian this year, but they have a lot of good players and they can play a lot of them. So that kind of stuff works in the tournaments because you're not depending on one player, and you can wear down teams with using as many as 10 players a lot.
Right, absolutely. Clay Vattel's down there in Class A boys too. They should be a fun one to watch as well.
It's good for them too.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, appreciate your time once again, and please continue to check thepost.com for the latest on area basketball. Thanks for watching today.